Um, the next thing, actually, this is really important. I should have included this as a first one, right? Simply because this predicts whether or not the person cheats. This predicts whether or not this person is abusive. This predicts how much money this person is gonna make, how well they control their money, right? And it's this.
Like a boss.
And don't forget, notice your breath as you're watching this video. All right, just be aware of it. I want you to practice conscious listening. All right. First is first. Marriage material first comes with proximity. You could The guy has to live close to you. He cannot be in Timbuktu and you're in New York City. All right. So the number one predictor of whom you're gonna marry is not about their personality traits or what kind of job they have. It's about their proximity. There's a high likelihood that you're gonna marry somebody who lives in your city than somebody who lives in the Serengeti, right? So that's just the first thing, right? Is that the husband material will always be in some approximate location to you. All right. Now, understand this. The first one is that you have to. The higher likelihood that you're gonna marry somebody comes from this place where you meet them. All right. If you meet, for example, let's just say John and Melissa are the same person throughout this whole little scenario that I'm gonna give you, right? John and Melissa met through their friends, right? And they got married. Now, but John doesn't know that Melissa likes to do OnlyFans on the side, right? And sometimes she lets people pay her for the poom poom, right? As an example, right? And John met Melissa as an escort. Same people, but that's her little secret. And they're both fall in love, but simply because they've met under those circumstances, the same people who would have worked out in another scenario, now it won't work out, right? So how you meet matters a lot more for the generally than the person themselves, right? So studies show that meeting somebody through friends and family leads to longer term relationships than meeting the same people online, on Tinder, or through Instagram, right? Or through a bar. So the hierarchy is meeting a man through friends and family always leads to longer marriages and less likely of divorce. And then after that is at a bar or in the streets. And then after that, the lowest percentage is meeting them online. Right? The reason why is because you may have some context about the person. Your friends and family knows him. And they properly vetted the guy, right? So that's one thing, right? And by the way, you have to be able to vet a guy. It's important to learn to become more present, right? So as you watch this video, you want to just observe your breath, right? You can watch any other channel, but if you watch this channel, just notice your breath as you're listening to my videos. Or better yet, notice the pauses between my words. And that will force you to pay closer attention to this video, because learning to be present will help you become a better long-term partner for somebody else. You want a man to be a good long-term partner, but you also want to be a good long-term partner too. And then when you become a good long-term partner is to developing emotional intelligence. So yeah, the second thing is you and him have a satisfying sex life, right? Now you ask yourself, what if your sex life is not that good? Well, studies show that splitting house chores, like a more recent study in 2016 by the Journal of Marriage and Family, so it must mean it's important, found that couples who split household duties had more sex than those who didn't. And more sex always leads to happier relationships, right? A 2013 UCLA study found that couples who have a system in place for how they did their chores were much happier in their relationships than couples that didn't. So you be like, Daddy, why don't you go and clean the plumbing? We are a little clogged up, right? Anyways, yeah, I'm doing house chores. And the reason why I say that is because if you don't have a satisfying sex life with your man, there's a high likelihood of both of you guys cheating on each other. In fact, the main reason why men go to escorts is to get sloppy toppy. If I'm being perfectly honest with you, is to get to get a low blow job. Okay, people. All right. So that's one reason why guys go. One of the biggest reasons, actually the biggest reason why guys go to escorts, to get the sex that they're not getting from home. You gotta find. There are some people who you're just more sexually compatible than others. Like seriously, like I've met women who, for example, I'll have this really beautiful woman in terms of her physique. Like she has big boobs, big butt, right? And then there'll be a woman who has small boobs, small butt, but for some reason I just have more sexual chemistry with her, and the sex is just way better than the girl who has obviously the better body, right? It's because you just have better chemistry with that person, right? And good sex makes you forget a lot of forget a lot of stuff. Um, the next thing, actually, this is really important. I should have included this as a first one, right? Simply because this predicts whether or not the person cheats. This predicts whether or not this person is abusive. This predicts how much money this person is gonna make, how well they control their money, right? And it's this self control, right? Self control has been shown that a man who has self control has a high likelihood of being faithful, right? Has a high likelihood of following through on his words. So that means that if you want to observe a man's self control, notice the activities that they do, right? Do they practice meditation? If they practice meditation, there's a high likelihood that this person will have a higher self control. And that's why if you don't practice meditation, it's always good to go to meditation circles because you can meet men who meditate there, right? Or doing jujitsu, you can meet guys who have higher self control than most people. And if you don't know how to meditate, join a Patreon, right? I'm kidding, but seriously though, right? Joining a meditation group is actually so fucking important because there you can meet a community of people who are present, and you can meet like-minded people. Hopefully, you can meet a guy that's good right there, right? So notice how patient they are, even waiting for their food or waiting for a trip to happen, right? Notice how much. Notice if this person knows how to control their money spending. In fact, somebody who saves a lot of money is not somebody who earns a lot. It's just somebody who knows how to control themselves, right? So notice how they control their money, because money is not just money. Money has an emotional quality to it, right? And if a man does not know how to control their emotions, the money, you're gonna notice that there's just gonna be some people who have high debts, a lot of debts, and that's a big one. A man who's not marriage material, unfortunately, doesn't have a lot of debts. A lot of people shouldn't be getting married. They just shouldn't, because their debt is so unbelievable. Some people don't reveal how much in debt that they are, and people know what I'm talking about, right? Where a woman marries a man and then she realizes that this person is riddled in debt. Like, I'm sorry, like, our finances are getting together. Like, you have to be on the same level with the guy, right? So notice their money habits, his sex habits, right? Lack of self-control also extends to not having control over your dick. And this, sometimes you can see a telltale sign that this person has low self-control by them being like just drug addicts, essentially. Like doing coke, especially coke or methamphetamines, you tend to engage in riskier behavior, and like the uppers, and because people who seek high levels of dopamine also have low levels of self-control. So if they do very risky activities or in criminal activities, or they're daredevils, or they just do risky shit as their job or whatever, those people tend to have a higher level of seeking dopamine. That means like jobs that put their lives at risk, that type of stuff. Those types of guys tend to be just high dopamine seekers, and they tend to lead to more troubles in relationships. Hey, notice your breath. I hope you didn't forget. Number 4 is that he is in the place where he actually wants to settle down, right? The thing is that some people meet people at a certain point in their lives when they're not ready for a relationship, or they meet somebody where they just came out of a relationship, or maybe they're more of in a negative point in their lives where they're just more negative, right? And by that I mean like they're just more they're bitter, they're butthurt about life, right? And they just have a negative outlook on life. And maybe you met that person 5 years later and they would have been ready for you. But because you met them at a wrong time when they were just, wanted to meet girls, or they wanted to hook up, or wanted to explore, they just weren't in a place, right? Um, so a lot of the times you just got to meet them at the right time. And how do you know it's the right time? Because you could tell they're more romantic. If you're meeting a guy, he's not, initiating the romanticism, and you don't have to hint it at him unless he has autism. Then this guy's just not ready, right? And unfortunately, with people, we have to accept that. And if the way to accept it is to not complain about it, but rather than complain about it, become more present. Observe your breath, right? Don't let the frustration get you into uncontrollable thinking, right? If you notice yourself about to get frustrated about the fact that this is difficult, because it is, just notice your breath. Don't let the sensation turn into thought, right? Just notice where you are at this moment. Look around you. Look at the different colors in the room. Look at the different objects in the room. Feel your breath. Feel your body. Feel your feet on the ground, right? Notice the space between different objects. Acknowledge the space around objects. Don't just notice the object themselves. And notice their silent presence and acknowledge it with love and compassion. By you doing that, you're opening your mind up to life itself. You're expanding the apertures of life and seeing the beauty that's already there, right? So, and you want to be able to not let the frustrations from dating create emotional knots. You want to let go of them, but in the way you do that is by opening your senses more. Your senses allows you to clear out emotions, right? When you're not in your senses, you're just putting those emotions, crumbling them up like a piece of paper and hiding them somewhere. But you opening up your senses, you're allowing them to float through and then disappear in the presence of your consciousness. So yeah, he's not ready to settle down. The next one is that he has qualities. What you want to do is he needs to have qualities that are similar to yours, but opposite personality traits. You better have not forgotten to notice your breath. In other words, he has a similar degree, similar education to you, similar interest to you, similar professions, hopefully, um, similar income levels, similar social status, similar attractiveness. Right? Those are all important people. I'm sorry, if you're a nine, anyways, right? But also the opposite personality traits that mean that if you're shy, it's much better to date somebody who's more of an extrovert. If you're an extrovert, it's better to date somebody who's more of an introvert, right? So that means that the qualities need to be the same in terms of superficialities, like family background, social status, how much money you make, profession, educational levels. They really do matter. Like, you can't deny it. And then the opposite personality traits, complementary personality traits. Um, right? So the next thing is that the sign that he's husband material is that he doesn't have a temper. Temper, your anger is the one emotion that you can't that humans have least control over. Anger is the one emotion that amplifies itself, that you could also fan the flame, that you could intensify by just imagining what's making you angry. Like, anger reinforces anger, right? No other emotions creates that. It's a wildfire. In fact, anger is the emotion that leads to people taking more action than any other emotion. It's the emotion that political groups use. They try to anger people because by getting them angry, by creating an enemy and making them angry through propaganda, it allows people to take action, and it allows politicians to take control of the ignorant masses. So if this person has a temper problem, and you can fucking tell if he has a temper problem, I don't consider that good marriage material. Because sometimes, a lot of the times when people have temper problems, they tend to say and do things they regret. And I don't want you, and if you're in the receiving end, they will regret it, they will sound apologetic, and they will be apologetic, but they won't be able to control their reaction because they're trapped. It's a pattern. So it's, and rather than trying to change people, if you notice it, it's better off to leave. It's just how it is. And the last and most important is that he's responsive to you. That means when you're sad, when you're depressed, he's aware of it, and he treats you as a human. It's not like your mom dies and he's trying to bang that night, right? He was like, "Oh man, I'm sorry that your mom died, but I can make you happy. You know, you want to sleep. He's aware of your emotional state and he responds to you. He notices your birthdays. He pays attention to the little things, the little gifts. He's looking for ways to impress you. He's looking for ways to take care of you, right? And so that responsiveness is shown up as he's a kind person. He treats you nice. And this is something that every person does when they love somebody. And when they love somebody in a healthy way, because he may love you but he may not be responsive. He may love you but he might be too selfish to actually show his responsiveness. So it's a type of care that a father or a mother will give a child when the child needs love and attention. If you're not getting that from your man, then that guy's not for you. And the thing is that it's better off to leave, because you could find somebody who could treat you that way. But if you stay with this person, you're not gonna find them. And a lot of the times, we just stay with them because deep down we believe that we can't find somebody who could provide us that love and affection that we feel like we need. And those are the 7 things that makes a man marriage material.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you guys ever want to learn how to use your feminine energy to influence people, learn how to use your masculine energy to become more assertive, and also learn how to blend both energies to improve your dating life, your spiritual life, honestly, your relationship life, your family life, your career life, this is the course for you. If I had to make a course for my nieces, I have 2 nieces. One is 8, 19, and one is 14, 15. 16. Holy shit. Oh my God, he's a bad fucking uncle. He's a bad uncle. Get him. Shut up, Melissa. You should get this course, right? And this is the course that I will make for them. So, for example, watch the curriculum, right? In the first week, we're going to be showing you how to establish a strong masculine foundation without letting it hurt your feminine energy. This masculine foundation is a source of who you are, right? It's your bodyguard. Without this, whatever feminine energy you create will be destroyed by the outside, because your masculine is your shield. So we'll talk about goal setting. We'll talk about how to develop a serious attitude. We're gonna be talking about how to use more logic, how to use more goal-oriented behavior. It's more how to be a man. Now the next one is how to embrace the feminine energy, right? This one would teach you about how to minimize excessive masculine traits, developing self-awareness, healing abundant feminine energy, regulating your emotion, mastering voice qualities and facial expressions, surrendering control, and allowing pain to be felt. This is honestly, this will supercharge, like Kaioken, your masculine energy. After that, we have femininity in the workplace, and how to be feminine in the workplace without letting people take advantage of you, and the nuances of how women of power should behave versus women who are subordinates in the workplace, and even the dress code. This is based on psychology, people. It's kind of insane. I'm actually excited about this one. The next week, we talk about navigating the labyrinth of male and female friendship, and this a lot of women find confusing, so we talk about that. And how to identify envious friends, how to identify the good friends, how to keep male friends, and how to keep female friends. Week 5, we talk about how to release the burden of the past and stop and destroy mental projections. This is actually really powerful. And then week 6, we talk about how to increase your observational power so that you can read people better. And we have a bunch of bonuses. The course starts at $99, and you guys can pre-order the course today at $69 before it goes out. If you're watching this, most likely I'm in the meditation retreat, so most likely I will be praying for all of you guys. And just click on the description down below of the video. Right there, you'll see it, and you can pre-order that course. It's gonna be out by the end of next month or the beginning of February of March. One of the two, people, because I have a 10-day retreat to do, and I want to finish the course after the retreat, because I think the ideas are gonna be so much better. All right, man. I'll see you guys later. Pre-order, man. I'm closing the channel.